Welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by the Pretty and Pain Podcast today. We will be dealing with living with fibromyalgia, and this is where you'll be able to come and get your tips. We'll be having conversation, facts, education, everything you need to know about fibromyalgia. I am your host, Mrs. Q. I have lived with fibromyalgia for well over 15 to 20 years now. I have relatives who have it. They've had it since maybe like in the 90s. So we've been dealing with fibromyalgia a long time. I decided to make this channel because there is a lot of the unknown when it comes to fibromyalgia, and we're trying to get this information and education out to you any way possible. As with Pretty and Pain podcast, when I'm doing interviews, living with fibromyalgia will be garnered toward the average individual living with fibromyalgia, because you need to get the education. You need to know, what to take to your doctors. We're here to get any information that you're willing to give as well. So don't be afraid to get down in the comments and give your assessment of what's going on in your life. If you need help, if you need support. And one thing you will learn in the chronic pain community, especially in the fibromyalgia community, we learn a lot about fibromyalgia from each other. So I'm so glad to have you here today. Do not be afraid to comment on anything. This is a zone where you can be as candid as possible regarding your fibromyalgia. But if you have any questions, any concerns, or any topics that you want to go over, or if you feel more comfortable commenting in private, please just email me at prettyandpainpodcast@gmail.com. That's prettyandpainpodcast@gmail.com. Let's get started. I'm so glad again that you're here today. And if you have not at this time subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe. You will get to know me very well. You will understand the ins and outs of fibromyalgia. We will learn from each other. We will learn from doctors, from individuals, from different interviews that I have given. Anything to help you get on a more viable life when living with fibromyalgia, you will find it here at this channel. I'm so glad that you are coming here today. Don't forget to hit the like button. And if there's anything that you do not like or anything that you would like to see, like I said, please contact me. Email me at prettyandpainpodcast@gmail.com. And as with any other videos that you see on YouTube, we are covered under copyright, under education and everything like that. So let's get on and get to it. What is fibromyalgia? That is a question many of us has asked. When it came into my life, it was like I started crying because I have seen my sister deal with it, and I knew there was not a lot of answers to it. We have moved so far from that time in the 90s and the early 2000s with fibromyalgia. However, we have a lot to go forward. When it comes to fibromyalgia, you will get the fibromyalgia diagnosed in most cases when you have widespread pain that is unexplained. The doctors have ran all type of tests. Everything has came back negative. However, you are still having real pain. And I'm going to say this again, real pain, and they do not know where it's coming from. The reason why they have to run all those tests, because there are quite a few diseases, quite a few chronic pain illnesses that mimic fibromyalgia. Remember, fibromyalgia does mimic rheumatoid arthritis. It does mimic Lyme disease. It does mimic lupus. It does mimic MS. So a lot of times your doctors will go through all those different tests that they're doing so they can get the most adequate diagnosis for you. Once you have all those tests and nothing comes back, they give you a diagnosis of fibromyalgia, and then your journey begins on how to live with fibromyalgia, being in constant pain or being in pain that comes and goes that you can't explain, and it really kind of debilitates you, and it does take over your life in a lot of instances. So fibromyalgia is a chronic pain illness. It affects between 4 to 12 million people in the United States. It is an illness that is known worldwide. In the United States, again, it's been affected by about 4 million people. The symptoms of fibromyalgia, the most common symptom is widespread pain. However, there are many symptoms that go into fibromyalgia. You have brain fog, you have chronic fatigue syndrome, you have IBS. There are many things that will end up being a dual diagnosis or a diagnosis among others when it comes to fibromyalgia. But unfortunately, right now, there is not a test to test for fibromyalgia, and there is not a cure for fibromyalgia. However, your doctor should be able to sit down with you, educate you, or tell you where to get the education to learn to live with fibromyalgia. I will tell you, when it comes to fibromyalgia, the best thing you can do is take control of your medical and start diarying, doing a diary of the things, well, I call it journaling, a journal of everything, and you'll start learning patterns of when you're having flare ups and things like that. For example, stress causes a lot of pain, and people don't understand the internalized pain. It can turn you into a very long going flare up. Also, different foods, and things like that. So you'll be learning this as we go along, talking about fibromyalgia in our different videos. But just to give you a brief synopsis of what fibromyalgia, that's what it is. There is a lot about fibromyalgia that we know. There is a lot about fibromyalgia that we do not know. What a lot of people don't know about fibromyalgia is that it comes in a lot of forms of pain. They used to go ahead and diagnose you by different tender points that you have. They have done away with that. I believe as of 2015, they have stopped doing the tender points test to diagnose you with fibromyalgia, because what we are learning is that every person tends to be a little bit different in how it affects you. The main thing, we all have pain, but it affects us in different areas in different ways. So it was more, viable that we did away with the tender points, because it just did not fit for every person. And you might have I have major pain in my neck and shoulders and down in my lower back and into my knees and areas. Some people don't have that. Some people have it directly in their mid back and things like that. So there is a lot to learn about fibromyalgia, and there's a lot that a lot of people do not know. What I do want you to know about fibromyalgia, there's about 7 different types. When I say types, is basically 7 different types of symptoms, or 7 main types of fibromyalgia that doctors look at. Hyperglycia, when your brain picks up your pain and amplifies it, and it makes the individual makes feel more pain than they actually should. So with the hyperglycia, there you see that a lot with people that have that. There are also the common muscle pains. This is the most widespread muscle pain, which is the most common type of fibro pain. You're sore, you're stiff, you're throbbing. You go from your neck to your feet. I've actually had times when I told people my hair hurts. I take my clothes off because my clothing is hurting and burning me if I'm in a flare-up. So I understand that is the most, so understand that it's the most common symptom of fibromyalgia, is the widespread muscle pain, and it can get very bad. We also have joint pain, and with the joint pain, it can be in your jaw, your skull. That pain is mostly in the ear, in the temple area, and around the eyes and the lower jaw, in the back of the neck, which that's what I have a lot. And you will find you in your journey with fibromyalgia, those areas where they really, really can affect you, and it just goes at you. Allodynia, which is skin pain when you're sensitive to touch. Many of us in the fibromyalgia, when we're going through in the fibromyalgia community, when we're going to a flare up, I'm one of those people that I have to physically have very light clothing on me. Sometimes I won't have clothing on me at all, because just the shirts and the sheet and everything like that, it hurts. It hurts my skin. My skin is so sensitive when I'm having a flare up. It just amplifies the flare up more, and I'm just very irritable. But that is part of the diagnosis when it comes to fibromyalgia and dealing with the pain when it comes to it. Now, we also have learned that there are many symptoms and diagnoses and causes of fibromyalgia. And when it comes to those symptoms and causes and things like that, the symptoms they can fall in very many ways. You can have experience chronic fatigue, which is in itself is a different illness, chronic illness that you deal with, but with fibromyalgia, it seems to amplify. You will deal with brain fog, which means that you're just my brain fog was so bad. You're forgetting, you're fuzzy, you're almost like walking in a fog. My brain fog was so bad that I actually went to my doctor and I was like, I think I have early onset Alzheimer's. And he started laughing. He was like, it's probably brain fog. I was like, no, this is not normal. And so you will find many of us in the fibromyalgia community deal with brain fog, and we call it fibro fog, and it is very real, and it can even be embarrassing, because you could be in the middle of talking to someone you could in a very deep conversation, and you completely forget everything that you're saying. You know what? But it's okay. It is okay. You just learn to move around it and live with it and things like that. There are different various treatments for fibromyalgia, and we will be discussing them in later videos and different videos. A lot of you right now, we have the three medicines that are approved through the FDA. That's Savella, that is gabapentin, and that is Lyrica. So you have your three meds that are approved, and we have the three medications, and not gabapentin. I'm sorry, I'm looking at a gabapentin message on my phone. So please forgive me, not gabapentin. The three medicines that are approved by the FDA is Cymbalta, Savella, and Lyrica. So we have those in the community who are living, their doctors have prescribed those medications. We also have those in the community that right now they are using CBD and THC with their pain management, or using it in conjunction with the medication that the doctors are giving. And we also have those in the community who have went on a complete holistic approach. They've looked at their diet and different things, and they're living a little bit different, and not decided not to use medication as a way of treating fibromyalgia. When it comes to fibromyalgia, understand that it will cause different things going on in your body. We have IBS, which is gastrointestinal issues. We deal with a lot of just widespread pain, and that widespread pain can affect you walking. It can affect you just being able to enjoy life, like different events and things like that, because the next day or even that same day, the effects of having a lot of activity on your body really just you're in so much pain, you get to the point where it's not worth it. When it comes to fibromyalgia, understand that it first thing you do is kind of just sit back and get as educated as possible when it comes to fibromyalgia, and then start looking on like your social medias and your different on the ground groups. We have a lot of groups that in different cities that are very good groups to go to for support, and but there's a very good online community of those who are helping and supporting those with fibromyalgia. I wholeheartedly suggest that you get involved. When it comes to your doctor, a lot of times the doctors, you'll end up educating them because there's not a lot known. Fibromyalgia, it can affect, I know people, they said it's affecting their eyesight. It is affected because you're blurry. You don't feel good. Ambulating, walking, you can be shaky. It causes you to be in a lot of pain to the point where you just do not want to move. But I am here to tell you that there is a way to live a quality of life with fibromyalgia. I've been where you've been. I've been in the bed for days at a time with the lights off in a bleak place, and I had to get up, and I had to find a different way to live. I tell people, and they look at me funny when I say embrace the fibro in you. I embrace it because I understand that I'm just a little different than people who don't have fibromyalgia, and I just have to find a way to go around my pain or go around what I'm doing so I can live a viable life. That does mean sometimes I can't go to different events, or I pick an event over another event, or some days I'm not doing anything at all, or some days I might cancel on you because I have to take care of me and do a little bit of self-care to get me back going and things like that. So I've been where you've been, and I'm here to assist you to get better. And trust me, even to this day, I have my flare days, and I understand that, hey, I have to get to a better day. And I want you to start speaking positivity into yourself. I want you to start living a little bit better and stop being so hard on yourself, because this is a illness, a chronic pain illness that affects from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And sometimes all of it is hurting at one time, and sometimes none of it is hurting, and sometimes it's only affecting different ways. But quit being hard on yourself. You have a chronic pain illness. It's no different if somebody has been diagnosed with lupus or MS, and you deserve to respect yourself and the others to respect that, hey, I do got something going on, but it's okay, and I'll get through it. Stop being hard on yourself. I've been there. It's not your fault, and I want you to understand that it's not your fault, but you're going to make lemonade out of those lemons, and you're going to be okay. And so that's what I want you to understand about fibromyalgia. Yes, it is an illness that it is not specific. Some doctors, even to this day, feel like that is not real. It's very much real. And we all know it's very much real. And we just have to come together so the patient, the individual, lives a better life with it and has a very much better quality life than they had back in the 90s or the early 2000s. Like when my sister had it, my sister went through undue surgeries because they were saying, okay, is this? No, it's this. And then, she was dealt some hard blows because there was not a lot known on fibromyalgia, and there was not a lot of research going on. But we're in a different day, and we're still trying to get more education on it. So don't be hard on yourself. You're okay. Yes, you're going to have some bad days, and just understand you're going to have some bad days. But even on those bad days, you could be okay. I am a person that deals with a pain level. I can function at about an 8 pain level because I've been dealing with it so long. But there's some days I'm just at a 3 or 4. And so I take the good and the bad. And now I just want you to know out there, quit beating yourself up. You're beautiful. You're a warrior. You are a warrior, because to go through this with no answer to it, you have to give yourself a pat in the back. So just take time and do that sometimes. There is a couple questions that you might want to ask your doctor you don't know. Is there a cure for fibromyalgia? As of right now, no. There is not even a test to test for it. There is not a cure. However, there are ways that you can live, addressing diet, addressing stressors that cause you to go into a flare up. Addressing little things a lot of times, especially if we're honest with ourselves, can help us deal with a chronic pain illness a little bit more better. So although there's not a cure, there is a way to live a better quality of life with fibromyalgia. You might be a person right now that's been in the bed for the last week or so. That's okay. That's okay. It's just learning to get to know your body, what works for it, what doesn't work for it, and learning to say no, not only to yourself, but to others. Because a lot of times that's the key to living a better quality of life with fibromyalgia. And sometimes you want to ask, does fibromyalgia affect your life expectancy? No. As of right now, there is no research showing that it affects your life expectancy, although being in pain and having your body under stress can lead to other illnesses. So we know that. But the illness itself, they are not showing anything right now where it will shorten your life expectancy. So understand that, yes, you have fibromyalgia. Yes, you're living with an illness that, hey, it's a swift blow. I mean, it knocks you off your feet when it comes into your life. But once you correct your crown and you say, hey, okay, I've got it. Okay, I'm in pain. I'm having a bad day or I'm having a good day. Let's work with this and let's take what we can out of it. And understand there are days if you just sit up in your bed or walk to the bathroom, you have did the dang on thing. So don't never discount what little you do in your life or how much you do. when it comes to fibromyalgia, because at the end of the day, you have an illness that can take the breath out of you with the pain. So give yourself some grace and understand that it will get better. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions and anything like that, please email me or even put them down in the comment area. I thank you for taking the time to come to my channel. Again, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe right now. And again, come back. We will be doing these videos 2 or 3 times a week. You will listen to some of the best interviews that you will, because those interviews are from individuals like me and you who have dealt with a lot. And we also deal with people with a lot of chronic pain who they don't know if they have fibro or not, or it looks that way and they have not got the diagnosis. So it will be an awesome time we'll be having with each other, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.